The Clockmaker's Secret Kids Story Bedtime Story Magical Adventure Mystery Tale. In the bustling town of Tinker's Hollow, there was a peculiar shop owned by an elderly clockmaker named Mr. Whistlewood. His clocks were renowned far and wide, each one unique, intricate, and impossibly beautiful. But there was one clock in his shop that stood out from the rest, a grand, golden timepiece that had never ticked. Rumors whispered that this clock held a magical secret, but no one could figure it out. 11-year-old Peter, a curious boy with a knack for puzzles, loved to visit Mr. Whistlewood's shop. The old clock fascinated him, its intricate gears and shimmering hands always seeming on the verge of moving. One evening, as Peter helped Mr. Whistlewood close up the shop, the clockmaker handed him an old brass key. "This is for you," he said with a wink. "You're the only one who's ever believed in the magic of the clock. Perhaps you'll discover its secret. The key to time." That night, Peter couldn't sleep. He slipped out of his home and returned to the shop, the brass key clutched tightly in his hand. As the moonlight streamed through the windows, he approached the golden clock and inserted the key into a hidden slot. The clock began to glow softly, its hands trembling. Suddenly, the air shimmered, and Peter found himself inside the clock. The realm of time. Peter stood in a dazzling world of floating gears, shimmering stars, and rivers of golden light. A tall, cloaked figure appeared, its face hidden beneath a hood. "Welcome, Peter," the figure said, its voice echoing. "You have entered the realm of time. But beware, the balance of time is fragile, and something has disturbed it." Peter listened intently as the figure explained that someone had stolen the heart of time, a crystal that kept the flow of time steady. Without it, clocks everywhere would stop, and the world would fall into chaos. "I'll find it," Peter vowed. The trial of the turning towers. Peter's first challenge was to navigate the turning towers, a maze of spinning cogs and shifting pathways. As he climbed, the gears moved faster, threatening to throw him off balance. Remembering the patterns of the clocks in Mr. Whistlewood's shop, Peter timed his steps perfectly, leaping from one spinning cog to another until he reached the top. There, he found a fragment of the heart of time glowing softly. The River of Moments. Next, Peter arrived at the River of Moments, where time itself flowed like liquid gold. To cross, he had to retrieve memories from the water, moments of kindness, bravery, and hope. Peter knelt by the river and dipped his hands into the glowing current. Images of his happiest memories appeared, guiding him across the shimmering surface. On the other side, he found another fragment of the heart, the shadow of stolen time. At last, Peter reached the Chamber of Echoes, where the final piece of the heart was guarded by the shadow of stolen time. The shadow loomed tall, its voice cold and sharp. "You cannot win," it sneered. "Time is mine now." But Peter stood firm. Time belongs to everyone. The shadow lunged, but Peter held up the two fragments of the heart. Their light merged, forming a brilliant shield that pushed the shadow back. Peter seized the final piece, and the heart of time became whole once more. Restoring the clock. Peter returned to the golden clock in the realm of time, placing the restored heart within its center. The clock's hands began to move, and the world around him shimmered as time's balance was restored. When Peter awoke, he was back in Mr. Whistlewood's shop, the brass key still in his hand. The golden clock ticked softly, its gears humming with life. Mr. Whistlewood smiled knowingly. "You've done well, Peter. The clocks will never forget your bravery." From that day on, Peter was known as the boy who saved time itself, and the golden clock became a symbol of the magic that lies in believing.